Pause for a minute to take a gander at the photograph of white rock above. Squint your eyes or loosen up them. Do you see it? In the language of the Jagera people, the conventional caretakers of this land, the name for the stone method's dingo or wild canine. From this point I do see a huge canine laying on the slope top, his head up and alert with a paw loosened up in front. Having recently moved to the highest point of the edge, I can very identify with him bringing a little rests. The path is 6.5 kilometers return and generally is a wide, simple strolling track. It's sandy in parts which astonished me this far inland, and hard-pressed earth in others. It's just when you get close to the stone that the path turns into a lofty slant, then a progression of profound steps. Plainly I need to do somewhat really strolling myself, in light of the fact that in the warmth of the day, a rest under one of the shades doesn't seem like an ill-conceived notion when I arrive at the top. The encompassing woodland is generally open, eucalypt with low clean. The trees give some irregular light shade. Over the track yet ensure you have a cap and sunscreen with you. You can't depend on the tree cover to save you from burn from the sun. The White Rock Conservation Reserve is just our second introduction to Ipswich. Our first was right around 20 years prior on our absolute first visit to Australia. We drove up from the Gold Coast for the Winternational racing. And keeping in mind that I actually appreciate watching engine sports, occasionally the peacefulness of this spot today is undeniably more in accordance with what my body and soul required. It's shockingly calm and uncrowded on the tracks, contrasted with different parks, a comparative separation from the city. The White Rock Conservation Park is a 2,500-hectare plot of land that has been secured in the midst of the wild urbanization of Ipswich, to help guarantee the endurance of the district's diverse flora and fauna. Over 6 plants and 150 birds, creatures and creepy crawlies are found in the region, including some that are very uncommon, like the little dark-breasted catch quail, echidna, kangaroos and koala. The historical backdrop of the White Rock Conservation Park. The area has a long history and significance to the indigenous Jagera people of the locale. The actual stone is holy to them, and you are asked, out of regard not the ascension it. In case you're after a touch more test on the return stroll, there's a touch of climbing and scrambling associated with the, not, at this point official, edge track that may fulfill your longing for experience and an exercise. The rough outcrops of the edge track are ready to be moved with care. In a territory that is urbanizing quickly, where huge lots of land have been destroyed, exposed and loaded with high thickness lodging, the recreation center owes its assurance in an enormous part to its later history. During World War II, in 1942 and 1943, up to 80,000 US troops were based close by at Camp Cable in Jimboomba. These warriors prepared in the timberlands of White Rock and Spring Mountain. Later in 1966, the Australian Army's 6th Infantry Battalion additionally prepared here. The impact of utilizing the region as a shooting range was that it was dispersed with live ammo, making it too risky to even consider undertaking wide-scale ranger service exercises. Thus, that permitted it to remain flawless long enough to get preservation insurance. Today the territory is home to the main vegetation assortment in the district. Strolling the White Rock Trails. The White Rock Conservation Park and trails were more evolved than we were expecting, yet not excessively occupied for the fact that it is so near a significant metropolitan zone. There are 2 acceptable measured car parks off School Road. The first has free structure, leaving to take into account vehicles towing horse skims. There is a hitching territory and drinking box for your ponies, and you can get to the Yaddamun Trail straightforwardly from that point. At the second car park is at the Paperbark pad's Cookout zone. There are covered outdoor tables and latrine offices accessible here toward the beginning of different path. While we restricted ourselves primarily to the White Rock Track on this visit there are a few different strolls, all opening from a similar beginning stage and circling off at very much checked intersections with differing lengths and focal points. There is a here thing to suit all capacities. The strolls include White Rock Multi-User Trail 6.5 kilometers return. Multi-use trails are for climbers, mountain bikers and pony riders. As this is a protection park, a pony is the lone tamed creature you may bring into the zone. Canines and different pets should be left at home. The path goes from the car park to the base of White Rock. You can stroll around He Rock and get back to the path close to where you began to climb. From that point you return along your unique way. 6 Mile Creek Boardwalk 500 meters one way. This track circles off and back onto the 6 Mile Creek track. And we're told this is track for birders. The trees in this part are jeopardized blue gum and koala have additionally been located here, so make sure to turn upward. Koala have certain trees that they like and get back to consistently. As a result of this, you can watch out for their scratches and their droppings around the base of the trees to provide you some insight on where to look. To be straightforward, when I spot them, it's consistently by gazing toward the perfect time, and in case you're fortunate, getting a little look at development as they scratch or reposition themselves assists with spotting them. We've just once seen a koala strolling on the ground in the wild, and that was in the Tullabudgera Conservation Park on the Gold Coast. He was changing trees from the high side of the way alongside us to the lower side close to the stream. We got an extraordinary gander at him, as he wasn't in any rush yet, as Murphy would have it in my fervor. I thumped the attention ring on my camera to manual without seeing, so just 2 or 3 usable photographs from behind him. Fane Lookout Circuit 200 meters one way. Opening from 6 Mile Creek Boardwalk, this track has a grade and lopsided surface paving the way to the treetop perspectives. Out more than 6 Mile Creek and the forested slopes and ledges of the recreation center. Minimal White Rock Track 1.2 kilometers return. This way leads through a fix of spotted gum, a top pick of the nearby koala population, so you may get fortunate with a locating through here. As you pass the base of the edge, you'll see caverns and furthermore some remaining parts of a memorable military preparing fortification. Minimal White Rock Lookout Circuit 200 meters. Diversion off Little White Rock Track. For this one, it's somewhat more troublesome as you climb, yet the perspectives over the woods are awesome. 6 Mile Creek Track minus 1.4 kilometers return. Paperbarks, swamp box and blue gums develop along this path segment. The bushland around 6 Mile Stream is pretty, simply don't get your expectations too high on a real spring or a dip. The track cuts across the northern segment of the recreation center and incorporates some precarious slopes and harsh surfaces. It's long and evaluated as a Class 4 track. The rise gives a few vistas out to the city of Ipswich, Brisbane and Moreton Bay. Informal, ridge track, approximately 6 kilometers return. This is a substantially more troublesome return track from White Rock. Rather than returning through the multi-client trail, head back to the steps at that point, proceed with the other way from the stone. It's somewhat of a goat track in parts, however simple enough to follow where it leads. We mixed along a brief distance just to investigate, yet there's little sanctuary from the burning sun up on the edge, so pick your day in the event that you are doing this one. This used to be a stamped track, however the signpost toward the beginning has been taken out, so possibly use it in case you're knowledgeable about climbing grade 5 and are solid and steady. Here's a clarification of the Australian strolling track grading system if you're curious about it. Notwithstanding its world popular national parks, Australia has numerous awesome yet mostly secret forest and protection zones to investigate. White Rock Conservation Park in Ipswich is a new expansion to our rundown yet. We'll unquestionably be going down that route soon for a portion of different strolls in this gathering and to examine a portion of different parks nearby. In case you're keen on a visit to the locale the Ipswich Council distribute leaflets on their save and park areas on their site, along with a lot of different plans to incorporate while visiting the territory.
If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a like and subscribe to Life is Often if you haven't already. Click the bell icon to stay updated on all our latest content.